Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like really conflicted about what to name this video because like plants are like large, but there is a small volume and I don't want it to be clickbait. Let me know in the comments down below if you feel like this video is titled appropriately. Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants, and today we are back with another plant haul. What else is new? Only today, all the plants that we have fit into a very specific category, which is they were basically the largest plants that I could find at the nursery. Okay, maybe not the largest ones, but they're all pretty big and kind of weird. So if you like weirdo plants or if you like big plants and you cannot lie, then keep on watching and we'll get right into it. Okay, so the very first plant that we are starting out with today is coincidentally the smallest of them all, and also coincidentally I know kind of what kind of plant it is, but I don't know what kind specifically, and that is this Bromeliad that I got. Now you can see from up above how large this plant is, and I think it's kind of goofy, but it is literally in this teeny tiny little 6-inch pot. Now I got this plant from one of our local nurseries here in Arizona called Summer Winds. It's on Tatum if you are local to the valley. Highly recommend them. They're one of my favorite nurseries around here. They have this indoor plant section, and I saw this plant sitting on one of the shelves, and quite honestly I thought that each one of these plants on the top were its own pot. And I don't know if you're like me and you constantly like stick your hand down into all the plants at the plant store to find the best one.
Claw is our master. Claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
I reached down to grab what I thought was the best one, and when I pulled up this pot, they all came with it. I could not believe my luck that this was all one gigantic plant, and for all these plants, all these bromeliads, I'm not sure if I mentioned that it's bromeliad, they were only $24. So needless to say, I was absolutely thrilled with this plant. Now, the one thing that I do kind of steer away from bromeliads sometimes is just because they do have a little bit of a weird life cycle where basically you know, the plant will form and then the parent plant basically dies back. You'll get little pups off of it. So it's not always my favorite plant, but this guy was just so cool and so full and so big that I had to scoop him up. Now I will try and bring the camera closer, but basically if you can see, this plant is like a bunch of little palm trees in here, so they grow off of these little stems, which also is a little different from what I typically find when I buy bromeliads. Now typically if I look around on the tags on plants, I can figure out the specific variety that this is. This one came with a tag from Kent's Bromeliad Nursery, so I'm assuming Summer Winds is just reselling their plants. But all it refers to this plant as is a bromeliad. It doesn't refer to what kind it is at all. So please, if you know, drop it in the comments down below. I'm assuming it's normal care, and that's basically just what I've been giving it, and it seems to be doing fine. But if you have the specifics on this plant, then definitely let me know so I can make sure that I am not doing anything weird. But this is our first big little plant of the day. Okay, the next plant that we have up is going to be what I consider the most common plant on this list, and that is going to be this bird of paradise plant. Now, I have been on the hunt for a bird of paradise for the longest time, and I've really always just held out because I've had a very specific vision of the size and the style of plant that I've been looking for. Typically when I find them, they're either like a teeny tiny little pot and way too small for what I was looking for, or they're like gigantic and not even going to fit my car. So this was the exact size that I was looking for, and more specifically, the leaves on it when I purchased it were absolutely perfect. Now, you may be looking at this plant and thinking, Caitlin, those leaves are not perfect. Well, an unfortunate turn of events happened when I purchased this plant. So it was in its nursery pot, but I had a very specific pot that I wanted to put it in, and the nursery pot was not going to fit in the cover pot, or at least it was like way too small, so it was gonna look silly. So I needed to get it out of the nursery pot, and I could not get it out. I was shaking it, I tried cutting it, it wouldn't work. I was shaking it so hard upside down, and finally, well, the plant fell out of the pot, and I kind of dropped it on its head. But to be fair, my mom, I'm pretty sure, dropped me on my head multiple times as a child, and I turned out just fine. Well, kind of.
Were you dropped on your head when you were a baby?
Oh, how did you know?
So I was a little disappointed that this beautiful, gorgeous bird of paradise plant that I had handpicked out definitely suffered quite a bit of damage. In fact, this stalk over here, I'm pretty sure has just kind of died off. I broke off a huge chunk of leaves off that one. However, overall, this new leaf has unfurled since that's happened, and I think that it is going to pull through. These plants are really fast growers, so as sad as it was to have dropped it on its head as soon as I purchased it, overall, I think that it's going to be okay and it's going to come back. And you know, at the end of the day, I guess if you want perfect plants, maybe you're just better off buying big ones. But we like imperfect things over here, so I guess we gotta roll with it. The next plant that we have is what I would consider probably the rarest. Actually, I'm not sure how rare or not rare these are, but I couldn't find a lot of information on them on the internet. And that is going to be this Aetherium Rancho ruffles. Now this one also came from my local nursery, Summer Winds, here in Arizona. As you can probably tell, I love Summer Winds. Coincidentally, they actually had one of these in stock a couple of months ago, and I really, really wanted it. The problem was the entire plant was like yellow. It looked like it was near death. It was like in the middle of the summer. So as hard as it was for me to do, I held off on that plant at the time. And then a couple weeks ago, I went back and they had this one, which I thought was in really, really good condition. And I will bring it a little closer so that maybe you guys can see. But at the time, it was actually, I believe that it's flowers on there. They're kind of bizarre, strange looking alien-like projections, but it had these flowers on there and overall just looked like a really healthy plant. Now, the reason that I knew that I really scored on this plant is when I was checking out, if you frequent the Summer Winds on Tatum, there is a nice young man there. He always is frequenting the houseplant section and always asks if I need advice on houseplants. And I never take him up, but I totally should. But this specific day when I was checking out, he came over to the cash register and he's like, oh my god, it's a beautiful plant. I totally want it. So I knew that I was onto something when the person that worked there was actually appeared to be jealous of the plant that I had purchased from them.
He's motherfucking peanut butter and jealous.
So was really, really excited about this one. I have given it a prime location in my house, a very sunny spot, and it really seems to be doing well so far. Now, like I had said, I can barely find any information about these on the internet, so I'm really just kind of doing trial and error at this point, but once I get a little more confident about how to take care of this plant, then I will absolutely do a care video on it because there just doesn't seem to be any information on it. So let me know down below if you have one of these plants, how you care for it, or if you like this plant, but this is one of the plants right now that I have really just been quite enchanted by. I'm trying to see on my viewfinder if this is distracting here. I think we're just gonna roll with it. The next plant that we have here today is the tallest plant that we have, and this is absolutely not going to fit in the entire camera, but I will do my best to show you the scale of this plant, and I think that you guys are going to rather enjoy this one because I know that I did. Okay guys, I'm starting down here low. This is the cigarette cactus, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. You guys, this plant is gigantic. Like, what? So you might be able to see on camera, but literally just from me picking it up, this thing is like wobbling and moving and shaking back and forth. Now, I got this plant locally. Again, of course, I mean, I can't imagine ordering this thing online. I purchased this plant locally at one of my other favorite local nurseries, Whitfills over in Gilbert, Arizona. And literally, as I was picking this up and walking it over, I was terrified that this cactus was going to impale me. And I'm honestly holding it still a little terrified. So I think that we are going to put it down very gingerly. What do you know? He's still in frame. But as I was checking out at the nursery, there's this nice older gentleman that always comes and helps me out with what I'm purchasing, and he kindly let me know that there is a very high probability that one day this cactus is just going to fall over and crack off. Now, it was a little sad to hear that, but I guess, you know, kind of to be expected, especially for the fact that when I pick it up, it basically is like a teeter-totter. However, ultimately, I was okay with it because for this giant cactus, I only paid $12. Like, what? $12 for this enormous cactus. And the cool thing is, I'm not gonna pick it up to show you. Here, I'll film a little video with my phone right now. But it's actually gonna be a picture, I lied. But there is a little baby. I'll put the picture right here. There's a little baby in there. So hopefully by the time that this guy cracks off, that little baby will, you know, be a sizable size, and I'll get to continue to enjoy this plant. But it was just so cheap and so gigantic and so weird that I literally could not buy this plant. I like walked past it like 10 times and I was like, you don't need that. But of course, here we are. I ended up buying it. Now, if you live in the valley and you're familiar with how the valley is laid out, I was over at Whitfills in Gilbert. I live over in North Scottsdale by Westworld, so it was like a 40-minute drive home with this cactus in my car, and let's just say it was one of the most stressful drives of my life. I also was like praying to God that I did not get pulled over because I felt like it would be hard to explain why I have an enormous cactus in my car. Luckily, we all made it home safe and we're not pulled over in the process, but it was an adventure nonetheless. All right, Mr. Cigarette Cactus, we're just gonna scooch you back over this way. I feel like a recent trend with my videos has been that they all end up being fail videos, so it would not surprise me over the course of me filming the rest of this video if I knocked over that cactus and it cracked off. Just saying. I didn't mean to jinx myself, but like, just saying. Okay, our fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, fifth and final plant that we have today in today's little big plant haul is going to be the largest of them all and possibly the weirdest of them all. I don't know. We had some weirdos in today's, but I think that this one definitely takes the cake. Give me one moment because I have to grab it from the other room. I'd like to introduce y'all to my red rojo congophilodendron. Okay, at least that's what I believe that this plant is. I can see a little pocket of my face in the viewfinder of my camera right now. I'm not sure how much is showing up, but hopefully enough that you can get the gist. I also had purchased this plant from Whitfills in Gilbert on a separate trip from the time that I got the cigarette cactus. I think that would have been too much to bear buying both of these at the same time. But not only does this plant have gigantic leaves, it has these beautiful red stalks and stems on here, but let me lift it up so that you can see. It has this like twisted corkscrew like stem, if you can see how it's in there. So it's all staked up. It was staked up by the nursery, and this plant cannot be left to its own devices because it absolutely tips over. As a matter of fact, when I was carting it out of the store, I had it tipped over on its side so that it did not snap in half. Unfortunately, I have not yet been able to locate a pot that is large enough nor heavy enough to contain this guy, so he has not found his forever home in my house, but boy do I love this plant. Now, as you probably noticed, he does have quite a bit of kink to him, and specifically I remember as I was wheeling this guy out of the nursery of Whitfills, there was an older woman. She was following me out of there, and she commented on what an ugly plant I had purchased, and I explained to her that that was the exact reason why I love this plant, because it is a little on the ugly side, and personally I love the weirdos.
I'm ugly and I'm proud!
Is that what he calls it?
I hope that you're able to get a little bit of a glimpse of this guy. I'll try and just like maneuver him around. I literally, like when I say I cannot move with this plant on me, I literally cannot move. So this is basically the best view that I can give of him, so I hope you enjoy. Set you down, my guy. Alright, you guys, enjoyed this video. Let me know down below which one of these plants was your favorite, and if you own any of these plants yourselves. While you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well, because as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a plant giveaway, and you just don't know what plant it's going to be. So I recommend hitting that subscribe button. Just saying. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. I literally can't get to the camera to turn it off.